What's up, y'all? Kyle Hamilton here. I want to give a quick shout out to Lucas, Connor, and Ryan in the Week Zero podcast.
Jackson rolling out, 3rd and 7 after the penalty, and it's a completion to Kuma. He's still running. Kuma breaks free against a tired defense as the Hokies deliver the dagger here in Tallahassee. Empty look for Richardson. Oh, that is danger! Oh my! Keidron Smith cuts inside, and he's gonna pick six it in the swamp. Cat scratch fever Smith.
DJ is picked off, intercepted again by Benjamin Morrison. Here goes Morrison down the sideline. Can he go? Yes, he can. Touchdown, pick six, Benjamin Morrison. Nix drops back underneath. Touchdown, Ducks. Wow. Chase Taylor.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Gold Standard. I am your host, Ryan Ferville, with my co-host, Sean, at Indy Forever on Twitter. We are back after another bye week that was long and unwarranted. But we are back. We got Wake Forest this weekend. Anyway, Sean, how are you feeling?
Good. I felt like we should have definitely moved up to 17. Was surprised Iowa and somebody else jumped us, Arizona maybe, but I was surprised we didn't move up more. I get it, 3 lost, but LSU moved up like 3-4 spots, so it doesn't make any sense to me there. But we're just excited seeing the recruiting news and excited seeing going into Sam Hartman Revenge Week and senior week and 2 games left plus the bowl game, and then it's crazy. So
yeah, man. I mean, we've got a lot to get into for a bye week. There was a lot going on, a lot happening. But yeah, I mean, how do you think? We'll talk about this real quick because I thought the bye week placement is still kind of odd. But how do you feel about having 2 bye weeks in the span of 4 weeks, especially at the time of the year?
Yeah, I think they should have either used it one after the Navy game or within the first 4 weeks, and then had the other when they had the first one. There's no reason to have a bye week with 2 weeks left in the season. I don't know.
Yeah, I completely agree. We got our boy Golden Playbook. He shows up every week. What's up, Golden Playbook?
Good.
How you doing, man?
Golden Playbook.
But yeah, so first things first, let's go ahead and get into it. First, we had 2 huge Notre Dame recruiting targets for the 2025 class announced commitment dates.
Yep.
First one is Cree Thomas. He is Ben Morrison 2.0. As Ben Morrison's high school teammate over there in Brophy Prep.
Are you saying that because Brophy? Or are you saying that because he's that good? Or
I think he's that good. I think his game reminds me so much of Ben Morrison. They play the same. They're both physical corners.
I mean, Ben Morrison was a 4-star, right?
Well, Cree's gonna be a 4-star. He's borderline 4-star right now. He should be a 4-star right now.
Brophy's a good school when it comes to producing talent.
It really is. But he set his commitment date for November 20th. I made a post about it. So Sean, as I pull up his highlights here, first of all, what is your feeling going into this commitment date? Is it Notre Dame a lock, or do you think there's a chance that someone else could take it here?
0% chance, man. Like 0% chance anyone other than Notre Dame gets this commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Benjamin Morrison, Brophy, that Bond, him seeing. I mean, you see a guy who's going to be a top 10, 15 draft pick in next year's class go where you went. You could follow in that footsteps, see what happened to him. I'm sure everyone there still talks about Benjamin Morrison. He probably played with Benjamin Morrison.
Oh, he did. He was a freshman on varsity when Ben was there.
So I mean, I think that's probably influential in itself.
So yeah, I mean, as we're watching his kind of highlight tape here, what kind of stands out to you with Craig Thomas's game, and where do you think he projects at the collegiate level at Notre Dame?
I'm not going to say he's going to be Benjamin Morrison. I think that's overhyping. I mean, I don't think anyone expected Benjamin Morrison to be the freshman breakout that he was.
Yeah.
I will say that he is going to be the cornerback room so deep. I mean, we're going to have Gray, Mickey. It's going to be pretty deep when he comes in. I see him starting. I see him being the like backup boundary corner behind like a Mickey, and then subbing kind of how Mickey has done this year, being developed, coming in a few times. I see him as that type of role early on.
Yeah, I do too. I think he plays kind of like the Christian Gray, Jaden Mickey role this year, where he'll get significant playing time as a true freshman. But I don't think he'll. I don't think he'll get a start. I think he'll start by his sophomore year, though, for sure. I think him and Christian Gray will lock up that secondary, depending on what Mickey does in 2025, or that would be 2026 at that point. So, depending on if Mickey stays, leaves, we don't know what that looks like. But I'm kind of on the other side. Like, I think while he's a 3-star right now, I think he's a borderline 4-star talent. I think in my opinion, he's a top 200 guy to me.
So he's a blue chip.
Yeah, I think he's a blue chip prospect to me. I love his game. I don't know if he will be Ben Morrison because, in my opinion, and I think Sean will agree, Ben Morrison is the best cornerback in college football. I don't know if that's a pretty high bar to set, but I think he could be kind of like what Cam Hart has done this year, which is be a lockdown corner whenever you need him to be. But yeah, I think he goes Irish for sure. I think that's kind of set in stone. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our next guy.
Yeah, and I mean I agree with Benjamin Morrison, and I'm so glad we haven't been here.
Yeah. 4-star edge Christopher Burgess sets his commitment date for January 6th, 2024.
Yep.
Big guy out of Chicago, kind of that Justin Scott type. Not as highly viewed as
that's the word. I was wondering what the word you were going to use there.
But in my opinion, I think Christopher Burgess is a top 100 player. He kind of reminded me a little bit of Keon Keeley. Just he's not as polished as Keon was coming out of high school.
But Keeley just was so. I think it was the level of competition he was playing.
Yeah,
but Keeley was just so big, right?
Mm-hmm.
So big, like his size. You were just like, dang, like big impact player. I mean, Burgess, I can see is that. Do you see him being more of the edge, Viper, or inside?
I think he's a Viper guy. He kind of reminds me of Isaiah Foskey. I know people have said that, well, his body type kind of reminds people a little bit of more of an inside defensive end. But I like him more at the Viper spot because I think he reminds me a lot of Isaiah Foskey. Just the body style, long, lengthy, very powerful, strong arms, very long wingspan. What about you? I mean, because I think that's where he projects.
I mean, there's I forget the recruit. He's either going to commit or has committed. But there's a recruit that they are wanting. I think they just got that. Yeah. They just got a commitment from and he was a Viper.
CJ.
No, not CJ. Whenever I think of it, I'll say it.
Dominic Kulak.
Yeah, I think the most recent commitment.
Yeah, Kulak, yeah.
Yeah. That he's a Viper. They recruited him as a Viper. So I don't know if Christopher's going to be a Viper. I see him more as a opposite side defensive end, not interior, because I think that he could put on the size, but I think he's got more athletic ability to set the edge. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What do you think in terms of his decision? His decision's 2 months out. He's been to Notre Dame 6 times in the
Yeah,
last
it's
year.
weird. It's weird because like a part of me is like, well, he made the decision. It looks like Notre Dame. A part of me is like, why would you make it 2 months out? A part of me is like, with it being 2 months out, is he just setting a date and then open to everything, and then we'll make a decision by then, or has he made the decision? So,
Well, the word is that he hasn't came to a decision yet. So, but my thing is like, what is one thing that like you see guys like Mike Singer or Tom Loy say, follow the visits, right?
Yeah.
He's been to Notre Dame 6 times in the last year. That's 5 more visits than he's awarded any other school, and that includes Ohio State, Michigan, Illinois, Purdue, Minnesota, Wisconsin. So if you follow that, I think Notre Dame's in a really good spot here. But I think this is kind of a commitment where even if he does commit to Notre Dame in January, I think it's gonna be a battle to hold on to him because Ohio State, Michigan really want this kid. And I don't know about you, Sean, but I think his rankings are only going to go up from here.
yeah, I think he's super talented. I think he stays around there. I can see him as like in the 75 to 100 range, but I think he's.
I mean, right now he's the number 11 edge in the class. I think he can possibly make it inside that top 10 by the end of this.
I mean, I'm just saying, like total, like he's like 103rd, I think, right now. I see him as more as in that range. There's so much talent in that class, and it's early, right? But yeah, I think this is one that I agree that you're gonna have to fight for till the end. And I think that Notre Dame will land this as well.
Now,
Mike Daddy Singer, I believe, didn't Daddy Singer put in a prediction?
No, nobody's put in a prediction. No? Kyle Kelly said he was thinking about putting one in, but let me ask you this, and then we'll kind of move on. 2 things with this commitment. How much of a must-have is this commitment, do you think, in terms of you missed out on Justin Scott, who was in your own backyard, Chicago kid. Notre Dame's missed out on quite a bit of Chicago kids that are, these high 4-star, 5-star prospects. How big of an impact do you think that, or not impact, but how big of a need and a must get is this for Notre Dame's recruiting in Chicago?
I'd say a 7.
Right. Yeah, I kind of in that same boat. I think this is where this is a kid you can't lose.
Yeah, it's not like a 10 where it's like Keon Keeley. It's not.
Or
like
Justin Scott was a 10. Justin Scott to me was like
Justin
a 10.
Scott was a 10, right?
Yeah.
Him being in Chicago makes it like a 7. If it was not Chicago and it was like Southern California, it'd be probably a 6. We get a lot of defensive ends like him. I'm not to say that he's not impactful, unique. I mean, he's a great player, but defensive end, it's not like a Cam Williams wide receiver position where it's like it rises the number. I'd say we're pretty deep at defensive end. So I'd say 7 because he's in Chicago and how talented he is. Right. Super talented player. Yeah. What was that comment, the last one?
He said, I still believe in Freeman. He's one of the best recruiters in the country by far.
Yeah, I believe in Freeman too, but if he does not fire Parker by the end of this year, I'm going to start wondering.
Yeah, as he says, I have a feeling Freeman's going to keep Parker as OC going into next year. I don't blame him,
I don't blame him because Goldie must have been the one, year 2, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm not against bringing him back 1 more year, but Freeman has to know that if there's no results next year with Parker as OC, he might not have another season after. If Freeman might only have 1 or 2 more seasons if he doesn't get over a certain hurdle of the playoffs.
I agree. One last thing on Christopher Burgess, and then we'll move on. But where do you think he projects at the next level, the collegiate level for Notre Dame? Do you think he starts, fairly soon at Notre Dame, or do you think he's got a little ways to go?
I see him as a Joshua Burnham type.
Okay.
Not in terms of like Vipers, but in terms of you never saw him at all his freshman year, maybe on special teams. And then his sophomore year, him being a rotational piece and being like, oh, this guy's good. He's got something. He's going to be great next year. And then we'll see what Riley Mills does. Not Riley Mills. Joshua Burnham does next year. But I think that, and then his junior year, he starts and is going to be great.
Yeah, I agree. I think he starts as a sophomore. I'm hesitant saying starting as a sophomore because the 2023 class by then are junior and seniors junior, and that's a very deep defensive line class. Are there any linebackers like a guy like Osbury or Bowen or guys like in that room that you think you could see moving to Viper, especially like I've seen people say, well, maybe put Osbury with his speed at
keep Osbury at linebacker. We're weak there. I mean, I think Joshua Burnham being young there and junior who's played there for a year and a half now. Junior, well, Botello can come back next year.
I think Botello transfers.
Let's say he doesn't. I mean,
okay.
If he does, Junior Tui Alamaka is probably our starting Viper, which I really like Junior at middle linebacker. And
you don't think maybe what about Sneed at Viper? I know that I've seen people say that too.
We can't. Like, I don't think people understand like how thin we are at linebacker next year.
Well, I think you're gonna be very young. I don't know if the word is thin. But I think in
terms of experience,
yes.
Like we're deep there in terms of talent, but like we're gonna have Sneed as a junior who subbed in a lot his sophomore year, and probably 2 freshmen or a sophomore starting. Like it's no experience in that linebacker. You can't put Sneed at Viper and start 3 freshmen.
What about Sneed at Rover? Jack Kaiser's kind of position. I like him where
Bertrand's position is.
Really?
I think yeah.
I don't know if you allow him to utilize his speed the best at Bertrand's position. That's where I kind of like because
I understand.
To me, Sneed, like Bertrand's position is more you have to kind of slow yourself down just a tad bit because you have to read what the offense is doing. Yeah. You have to direct the defense. And my thing with Sneed is I think he's best when he doesn't have to think. When he just can use his flat-out athleticism, make tackles, break up plays, be disruptive.
I think that next year, Bowen starts in the Maurice Leofau area, J.D. Bertrand.
Yeah.
It's tough. I see Bowen and Sneed, and I don't know. I think we can get a transfer. Maybe a Kaiser or a Bertrand can return. I doubt it. But I think if any of them are to return, it's going to be Kaiser. Leofau's gone. That's tough.
Boone Playbook says Freeman will definitely be on the hot seat at that point. He needs to move Parker to tight ends coach and get the best OC. That's what I hope he does. I don't get
the moving him back to tight ends coach because
well, that's what I've heard. There's a rumor.
I heard
and it. I'm going to put this out. It's just a rumor. But Fansided came out with a article that, according to College Football Watcher, who is an account on Twitter that's pretty big, and they've got kind of like the inside track on Notre Dame stuff in the past. They called Freeman as the head coach before it even came out, actually right after BK got fired. So take it for what it's worth. But the rumor is that they've already had internal discussions with Freeman and Parker about limiting Parker's input.
Because why would you? I just feel like there's going to be animosity. Like I was the OC, now you are. Like I don't know. Like I'm not sure it's going to be like that, but I can see butting heads in a sense. Like
well, that's what it is right now. Is like this week, I guess during the bye week, Freeman had a conversation with Parker about taking away the amount of power that Parker has with offensive play calling.
And why didn't he say that during his press conference?
Maybe it's something you don't make public. I mean, because think about it, that is Parker is Freeman's guy. They've worked together all the way back in their Purdue days, Cincinnati days. So I think that's part of where it comes in. And I think and also the rumor includes that the play calling has shifted more to Gino Guidugli having more input in the offensive play calling. which I kind of like because Gaduli, as a quarterback's coach, is obviously going to want to throw the ball more than Parker is as a tight ends coach. But the rumor is that Parker would get demoted back to tight ends coach. If he doesn't accept that, then we move on.
Interesting.
So, I mean, how do you feel? I mean, if Parker is willing to take that tight end coach role, do you keep him on staff?
No, I wouldn't.
Because I think he's done a good job.
I think you can get another tight end coach that could do just the same. I mean, not just the same, but can be efficient too. I just don't like the idea of demoting someone within and hiring someone, and I don't like that. But I mean, it's better than him.
If you were going to do that, I feel like the best kid. Like if you were going to do that, I get what you're saying. You would have been better off just naming Parker as the interim OC for this year. You know what I mean? Like, you would have been better off doing that because
when he listed as the co-offensive coordinator this year.
Who? Gino? I think Gino is co-offensive coordinator.
Yeah, so I mean, why not give that by this point? I mean, Gino an opportunity. I mean, shit. What's the?
Well, the thing is, Gino hasn't had any input on the play calls.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
give him an opportunity.
And if you remember, Gino took a demotion coming here because he was the OC at Wisconsin, or not? Yeah,
Pretty sure
when he moved, or not Wisconsin, he was the OC at Cincinnati when Desmond Ritter.
Yeah, that was Wisconsin.
So Luke Fickell was at Cincinnati. His OC last year at Cincinnati was Gino Gaduli. When he went to Wisconsin, Gino got demoted to I think it was receivers coach, and then he got hired on at Notre Dame as the quarterbacks coach.
What's next for us, buddy?
All right. First, the next thing we got is another quarterback transfer for Notre Dame in 2024. Freeman in his weekly press conference talked about the staff will be taking another scholarship quarterback in the portal for 2024. He did not clarify whether this guy was going to be a QB1 or if it was going to be a death play. But if you kind of use context clues,
he kind of did say it.
Yeah, that's what. If you kind of say he didn't come out and say it, but if you kind of use context clues, he wants a guy that just kind of fills that fourth scholarship, which I kind of have a strong opinion about. My opinion is, why go get a transfer quarterback if all you want is a fourth scholarship quarterback when you could just give Dylan Devison a scholarship?
Yeah, but he sucks.
He's never played.
Why do you think he's never played? Because he sucks.
He's the fourth string.
You might as well just get another guy in the 2023 class.
That's what I mean. Also, why not get another quarterback in the 2023 class?
I get it. At first, I was against it, and the way he says it, the goal always is for scholarship quarterbacks and what he wants. And with Buckner leaving, that kind of ruined that. So I get it. Get someone who can battle, not guarantee the job like you did with Hartman. Battle and help with some experience, help these young quarterbacks, and have 4 scholarship quarterbacks. And then next year.
But then what happens if that guy wins the job?
And then the next year you got, if they don't leave, Angeli, Carr, Minchie, and Deuce Knight, right?
If Angeli doesn't win the job this year, he's gone. Like, he's transferred. Like, that's what I'm saying.
I think Angeli wins the job. I don't think Freeman is going to start a quarterback again with 1 year of experience. If he does, that would be 1 year left.
So if they get a guy, you think they get a guy with like 2 years left?
It's a grad transfer or 2 years left.
Who would you take? Because who are you gonna get? Like,
I don't care.
That's
the one position where I'm like, I wouldn't really want a Riley Leonard like people are wanting, because I'd rather have the younger guys get opportunity. I'll take someone from.
And see, there are rumors that Riley Leonard to Notre Dame is already like a done deal.
Yeah, and
I don't know where that comes from, but like that's like the rumor that's out there. Like, Riley Leonard to Notre Dame, it's a done deal, set in stone. It's going to happen, which is why Riley Leonard is not playing at Duke right now, because of a quote injury. So, I mean, how would you feel about Riley Leonard at Notre Dame? Because I know that you don't like it from the roster standpoint, but purely having Riley Leonard as your quarterback one, how do you feel?
It would just feel like Sam Hartman's season all over again. People would be so excited. We have Riley Leonard. People were saying would be a top draft pick before his injury, and then
Yeah.
it could end up being another disappointment of a season. I mean, we would definitely probably make the top 12 with Riley Leonard, right?
I think Riley Leonard's better than what he gets credit for because people got to remember Riley Leonard struggled against Florida State. Dude was playing on one leg. He struggled against Louisville. Playing on one leg.
They were up a touchdown in the red zone before he got hurt against FSU. They would have won that game.
I mean, my thing with Riley Leonard is people will be like, "Oh, well, he played at Duke. Like, you're gonna look better at Duke." Same thing with they said Sam looked better at Wake because it's Wake Forest. Think about it this way: Riley Leonard has a bunch of 3-stars and unranked guys he's throwing the ball to at Duke.
It was Sam Hartman's thing, though. I mean, he had 0 3-stars at Wake Forest, and he looked better there than he does here. I will say this, though. If we do get Riley Leonard, the one thing I would be happy with is how it would work with the run game. It would be kind of like a Buckner situation where the run game would open up because you wouldn't know if Riley Leonard was going to take off or if they were going to give it to Jeremiah Love or if they were going to give it.
You couldn't sell out for like a running back
because Leonard could take it, and Leonard's a threat at running the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen stuff about Riley Leonard. I've seen Quinn Ewers. That's kind of rumors died. He's going back to Texas. I've seen Malik Murphy is a big name that pops up. He was a highly touted recruit.
I mean,
I don't know why you want him. I know he was a highly touted recruit, but he looked and his start to Texas.
I don't honestly. What I think you should get a guy with 1 or 2 years left from the University of Ohio, from the University of UNLV, from San Jose State. Like, I don't think you get any of these big-time transfers. I think you just add a guy with some playing experience that won't win the job, that don't want to go to Notre Dame because it's Notre Dame. That's what I think. You can even get a guy from FCS.
Okay. How'd you feel about MJ Morris at NC State? He was the backup to Brennan Armstrong this year. He actually started 5.
NC State's a bigger program than what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Power 5 quarterbacks.
Okay.
I'm talking about I would want to take a group of 5 quarterback with some experience that we know won't win the job but can help experience-wise. I mean, if we end up getting one of these NC State guys, Duke guys, Florida State guys, people are going to be like,
what about Austin Reed from Western Kentucky?
I mean, I would take it. I don't think he would start. I don't think he would leave Western Kentucky.
He was planning on leaving Western Kentucky last year when he led the FBS in passing yards, and the spots just filled up, so he decided to come back to Western Kentucky. And I know Notre Dame had interest in Austin Reed at that point.
I mean, I'm definitely interested in a quarterback like that. I mean, I don't want a Riley Leonard next year. I don't want I mean, if there's someone you can't deny, to me, Riley Leonard, to me, he's not that Caleb Williams, Quinn Ewers type of quarterback, right?
Like Drake May said, "Hey, I want to come to Notre Dame."
I would love it. If Drake May wanted to go to Notre Dame, I will welcome him with open arms.
Wait, hold on. What about this? What if Tyler Buckner wants to transfer back to Notre Dame?
I would accept that.
You would accept that? Yeah. Really? That's.
I love Tyler Buckner.
He sucked at Alabama.
I love that.
You watch him in that USF game?
I made a tweet saying he would lead Bama to the playoffs and be a Heisman finalist. So
bro, didn't he only complete like one pass against South Florida? I think that's what it was. Like that dude was.
I feel bad for him. I do.
I don't know. I think Tyler Buckner might be one of the biggest bust. Like Goolsby. What's weird because that was Goolsby's guy. I can't talk. That was Goolsby's guy, right? And he's like, "Oh, why are we having Tyler Buckner transfer for Sam Hartman? Is there really that big of a difference? Tyler Buckner, I think he could be better." Yeah, then you see Tyler Buckner go out there and.
But Tyler Buckner's only had like one start, though. Like, I think if he started a whole season, we'd have the same record what we have now.
I know, but dude, Jalen Milroe and his first start threw for 5 touchdown passes against Middle Tennessee State.
Okay, but he's
like,
he played Marshall.
Yeah. I mean, and Tyler Buckner started against South Florida. I mean, you got to kind of be like,
I get it. Whatever.
But no, like I completely agree. I've seen people say like, why don't you just go get like a grad transfer from like an Ivy League football team that like has played for a couple of years? He's not really a threat to win the job,
but you have him there as like guidance, right? Because I mean,
my issue is like, who's going to be like, all right, cool, I want to transfer to Notre Dame when I could stay where I am and start, but I'm going to transfer to Notre Dame to sit the bench.
You don't say it's to sit the bench. You say it's an open competition, and it should be. And I think you take a quarterback like that, and I think all 4 quarterbacks, it should be an open competition.
Do you think it gives anybody like because this year it was like a competition, but it was like, yeah, it's Sam Hartman's job.
That's what I'm saying. He promised Hartman the job, pretty much.
But do you think like that's what it is this year with kind of like Angeli? Do you think he promises Angeli the job?
No, I think he.
Or do you think kind of in the back of it, Freeman's head, he's like, well, Angeli's been here for 2 years. He's got the most experience in the room besides, other than Minchie and Carr.
I think he needs to have one of his guys, a Minchie Carr. Right, I don't think Angeli's really his guy. I still consider him Kelly. He was Kelly's last really big recruiting class, even though Freeman was here as a defensive coordinator. I think you start one of those 3 guys, but it's an open competition. Best quarterback wins it. I don't care if it's Carr, Angeli, Steve.
Golden Playbook says, "Oh no, not Buckner. He's so bad."
Whatever. Next.
But and then finally, I wanted to mention this because this was kind of breaking news, and we'll kind of do our own little show on this. But it was reported earlier today that CJ Carr is going to be on campus, like he's going to be a student at Notre Dame on December 16th. And the reason that is that not everything came out about it, but it is official. He's going to be a student at Notre Dame on December 16th. He's going to be moving in. He's going to be an early enrollee, and he will be eligible. He won't be able to play, obviously, but he will be eligible to practice with the team from December 16th up until the bowl game. So he will be able to suit up and wear helmet, jersey, pants, everything, but will not be eligible to play.
Woo! Don't you love it?
Do you think this was kind of a move by CJ and Marcus Freeman to kind of be like, hey, let me see what CJ's got as soon as possible?
Yeah, so they know like what they're gonna have. There's an open competition. I would love. I mean, if how quarterbacks to start. I want to go Carr, Minchie, Angeli, transfer. Yeah. I'd love for CJ Carr to start,
bro. Do you think that gives CJ Carr a leg up in the competition, being there December 16th and being able to practice with this team?
Not really, because they're all there anyway. So I mean, he's going to come in January.
But I like it because Sam Hartman has a couple weeks to kind of put CJ Carr under his wing. I like that. I don't know if Sam will do it, but I mean,
I mean, he's gotten $2 million
all
to bring us to 93. So, all right, what's next, buddy boy?
right. Next up, we
Well,
got
wait, what's your thought before we go? Sorry, what do you want in a transfer?
kind of what you said. I don't unless it's a guy like Drake. If Drake May called Marcus Freeman tonight and said, "Hey, I want to transfer to Notre Dame." All right, cool.
Oh, yes, you do. Right.
But if it's not Drake May on the other end of that phone, and it's like a Riley Leonard or MJ Morris or a Malik Murphy, and they're like, "Hey, Freeman, like I'd love to come to Notre," no, you hang up that phone call. You hang it up, and you just be like, "No, we're good."
I will say, like, Malik Murphy still has some eligibility, so I wouldn't mind.
Well, he's a sophomore.
I wouldn't mind a transfer with eligibility.
He's a
Right.
redshirt sophomore. So
I wouldn't mind if you got eligibility, I'm okay with it because then we'll have you more than 1 year. But I don't want to transfer to start for 1 year. But I think we should stay within our group.
oh, what about this? Cam Rising.
No,
No.
1 year guy. I don't want. He's literally exactly going to be a Hartman 2.0.
Thanks. I do need some sun. It's winter, you can tell. All right. Next up, we got thing we were talking about earlier. Eric McAllister or Raymond Cottrell for Notre Dame in the receiver transfer portal. Buy or sell? Who do you think is more likely? Eric McAllister is a redshirt sophomore who will have 3 years of eligibility remaining. He was one of the top receivers in the Mountain West Conference, leading receiver for Boise State. He is in the portal. Notre Dame's targeting him as well as Raymond Cottrell, who was a true freshman this year for Texas A&M, was a 2023 class guy. Notre Dame was heavily after him early in the process. He has a great relationship with the coaching staff, specifically Chancey Stuckey. Funny enough, before Notre Dame could even reach out, Raymond Cottrell called up Freeman right after he decided to enter the portal, and they've been having conversations. So, you got a true freshman, and then you got a redshirt sophomore. I know Notre Dame typically doesn't like undergrad transfers, but it seems like under the Freeman era, this has kind of changed a little bit. But who do you think Notre Dame has the best shot of landing between these two guys?
You ready?
Yep.
Neither.
Yeah,
I
really?
think neither of the two. But I think if we are to land one, I think it's going to be McAllister.
You don't think Cottrell reaching out to Notre Dame?
I think that helps, right? And I think we could land him because of that reason. But
I guess, do you want to add another young guy that's unproven to that
room?
room?
A lot of young guys in the room. For me, a transfer, I think you get 1 or 2 transfer wide receivers, and I think they need to be guys who have experience. I don't care if it's from Rice, if you want to do a Northwestern wide receiver. If they had 1,000 yards this year or 800 yards and guys played 3, 4, 5 years, that's the type of receiver I want. A Ben Skoranek type transfer, right? I want the experience to come in and play, and I think that's what we need. And I think,
or like a Caleb Smith. We had Caleb Smith this year. He medically retired. Guy like him. Seth Scott, he asked, what's the top or soon-to-be top quarterback on the transfer portal for Notre Dame to get?
We ain't getting that.
We ain't getting none, Seth. I'm sorry, man.
We're getting a transfer quarterback.
We're getting a transfer, but we're not going after the top names this year. We're going for a depth quarterback.
If we landed a Malik Murphy, I'd be surprised.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
if we do land him, I'm going to be open.
I think Murphy, Rising, and Leonard, they want to go somewhere where they're guaranteed the job.
Yeah.
So
and I don't think Notre Dame's going to offer that this year.
Yeah.
Mr. Scott.
No, like I said, hashtag no more mullets at Notre Dame after Sam Hartman.
I love Sam Hartman.
You know what? I realized after Sam Hartman shaved his beard, like
What are you going to say? What are you going to say?
Did we get worse or did we get better?
Yeah, I agree. My wife said the same thing. But what do you think? Who do you think we land between these two?
I think Raymond Cottrell. I think he was a highly touted recruit, 4-star guy. I think we get him just because I think that connection. But I do think we add another guy to the I think we add like a grad student to the room. A guy I think the Notre Dame should go after. Trey Horton. He will be a grad student receiver from Colorado State. He was the guy that had almost 300 yards receiving against Colorado. The guy that they just kept throwing slant routes to, and he just kept getting open every single play.
Yeah.
Against Travis Hunter. That's who I would get because Trey Horton can flat out ball. It just sucks because he plays for Colorado State, and the quarterback play at Colorado State is dog garbage. Yeah. I think that would be a guy I'd take.
I like that. That's the type of guy I would want to take too. One of the grad transfers with the experience. I mean, I'm very intrigued. It also depends on if Tyree comes back and we're going to see all these people at senior day, but who's coming back?
We also can't get another slot guy because if Tyree comes back, the slot is his thing. Like that.
Well,
that's
Tyree. We also have Great House is kind of like a slot-ish.
Yeah.
We have Faith on. I will say that I want that big deep threat, like a Thomas type build, but I think that it's going to be interesting too because are we going to have like a Watts that comes back? Are we going to have a Tyree come back, a Kaiser?
Seth asked, what's in the 2024 and 2025 class that they're focused on for? Already got our quarterback, Seth. We got 5-star CJ Carr.
We have high 4-star quarterback CJ Carr, not a 5-star.
He should be a 5-star.
5-star when he committed, but he's a top 50 player and he's a top 10 ranked quarterback.
He's the number 5 quarterback in the class.
Yeah. And then we have a 5-star receiver in the 2025 class. And
2024. Cam Williams, 2024.
No, I'm talking about.
Oh, quarterback. Yeah, 5-star quarterback in 2025. Deuce Knight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, our quarterback situation, Scott's already good for the 2024 and 2025 class. We've got a borderline 5-star. He's a top 5 quarterback in the class, CJ Carr, and then 5-star Deuce Knight, who is the number 3 quarterback in the 2025 class. So that's kind of where we're at, Seth. We don't want to go get a guy that's going to take playing time away from them. We want to develop, yeah.
But yeah, I hope I can definitely see Watts coming back, right?
I hope he does.
I think he does, unless he wins some awards. If he wins some awards, continues to get more picks, I think he goes to the draft. There's no way the Final Four list of Defensive Player of the Year is going. I mean, he's a Final Four, and there's no reason he shouldn't go to the draft. But Tyree comes back. I think there's a ton of opportunities for players to come back. I'm interested to see after the bowl game who that's going to be. And it's rumored now we're going to play either Tennessee or LSU. So,
all right, let me pull this up. And we'll get into our final topic of the night. Wake Forest game preview. We'll go through this. Notre Dame will play Wake Forest for their senior day game. It's not a night game. Wake Forest revenge game on Sam Hartman.
To be bowl eligible.
Yeah, to be bowl eligible, Wake Forest needs to win this one. Dave Clawson, the head coach of Wake Forest, has already taken shots at Sam Hartman.
Yeah. Not at Sam Hartman per se. Notre Dame.
At Notre Dame. I think he's still salty that we took Hartman from him. Just a little bit. But going into this game, Notre Dame is a 24.5-point favorite at home. Sean, does the Notre Dame Fighting Irish offense get back on track this week after struggling mightily last week or 2 weeks ago? And do they cover 24.5 points?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, I think we do. I think we see Steve Angeli in the second half, fourth quarter. So
really, you think it's a blowout?
Yeah. I mean, I think Sam Hartman's
So Seth asked, are they just going to cut CJ loose and run a gun?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
But yeah, so I see this being a blowout, playing a lot of backups, and then Stanford I see being the closer of the two.
Yeah,
If it's
I hope Notre Dame blows out Wake Forest.
Is this team motivated? I don't know.
I think Wake Forest is, because I think that Sam Hartman thing still bothers them. And I think they want to make a bowl game. And
Yeah.
I think Dave Clawson is a good coach.
Yeah.
My thing is Wake Forest's defense is not Wake Forest defense of old. They held Clemson to 12 points when they played. And so for context, Sean, they played Clemson at Clemson the same we did, right?
Yep.
They held Clemson to 12 points, or not 12 points. They held them to 17 points, and Wake had 12. And it was like a barn burner of a game. Neither offense could do anything, but they forced 4 turnovers on Cade Klubnik in that offense. So Wake Forest's defense is very turnover happy. They force a lot of turnovers. Their offense sucks. So that's the thing. The thing is, Sam can't go out there and play like he did against Clemson, and Notre Dame still blow out this Wake Forest team.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely the revenge game. It's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be crazy. Hold on. Sorry.
Like kind of what Golden Playbook said. I think Wake Forest will be angry at Sam Hartman.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. Got a text. Blockbuster trade's about to go down in my fantasy league. So yeah, and it's going to be right before the game, including Lamar Jackson. So when I saw Lamar Jackson, I was like, what? So sorry. Had to let them know I'm doing a stream, so I can't answer the phone, Commission. But yeah, Notre Dame can't take them lightly. If we lose another game this year, I'm going to murder.
If we lose to Wake Forest and the offense struggles again, Jared Parker has to be fired, right?
Yes.
Like he has to go, right?
Oh, yes.
That's a thing, right? Like you can't lose to Wake Forest and struggle on offense and still keep your job. Like,
you can't.
I mean,
No way.
Okay, how about this? If Jared Parker and the offense struggle in one of the final 2 games against Wake or Stanford, and we lose, does Jared Parker get fired?
Yes. Penn State fired theirs. Everyone's firing theirs. Just do it already, Freeman. You can do it in the middle of the season.
You can't tell me Coach Gino can't call a worse offense than Jared Parker.
But I do think we see Steve Angeli in this game.
I really hope so.
I'm excited. I miss Notre Dame football. We got to take advantage of this. I mean, yeah, we might not be good right now, but take advantage of enjoying these last 2-3 games, because once it's over, we're going to already be ready for next year, and it's going to be like 9 months away.
It's going to be CJ Carr year. Like, that's what everyone's going to be like. We want CJ Carr. CJ Carr needs to start. That's what everybody's going to do. Like, you already know that's going to happen.
I'm going to do it. I did that.
Dude, the minute he gets on campus and he takes his first practice reps in a Notre Dame practice, even if it's a practice uni.
Dude, I can just see him now.
Like, you know how many pictures like I'm gonna have, and I'm gonna be like, bro, I gotta have this. Like, I gotta see my boy CJ Carr in a Notre Dame uniform. That's not a visit picture, because visit pictures don't count. But yeah, I mean, I think Notre Dame wins. I'll go ahead and give my score prediction. I think Notre Dame wins this game by a score of 38-17. So yeah, I think I don't think Notre Dame covers that spread. I think that's a lot to to expect. But Sean, what is your thoughts? What is your score prediction for this game? Oh, as we lose Sean, I'll answer your guys' questions. Is CJ Carr worth the groan? Oh, we got Sean back.
All right.
What do you mean, Seth? Is CJ Carr worth the groan?
He's talking about the groan that's going on in your pants when you talk about him.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
it is.
Sorry.
Yeah, I want CJ Carr to start as a freshman personally.
Me too. Technical difficulties today. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Blacking out.
So I gave my score prediction of 38-17. I don't think Notre Dame covers the 24 and a half. I think that's a pretty big number.
I see it 38 to actually I agree 34 38 to 34. 38. 38
Oh, that's what he meant. Is he starting CJ Carr worth the growing pains that it will come with starting a
the
true?
growing that's happening ain't no
Yeah.
It's Seth, I'll tell you. No, I'm it's worth the growing pains. A year of shit for years of future sounds amazing to me.
Dude, Seth, think about this. So Notre Dame's schedule is easy as hell next year. Our toughest games are Texas A&M, week 1 on the road, Louisville at home, Florida State at home. Florida State without Jordan Travis, so they'll be kind of figuring out who their quarterback's going to be. You know what? What's funny? We could see Notre Dame versus Florida State and a matchup of CJ Carr and Luke Kromenhoek, number 4 and the number 5 quarterback in the class of 2024.
Well, didn't that be awesome?
That would be something, wouldn't it? Under the lights in South Bend. But yeah, if there was ever a schedule that you could, the thing is, CJ Carr, with how easy Notre Dame's schedule is, CJ Carr could have growing pains as a freshman because you're going to have those.
Yeah.
But because of Notre Dame's talent differential between the teams they're playing, Notre Dame could still go 10-2. You know what I mean? Like that's what's nice about the schedule. We faced Michigan in the playoff with CJ Carr and beat them.
All right, Golden Playbook. Stop giving me that growth.
Dude, you know how angry Michigan fans would be if CJ Carr went to Notre Dame. Not only went to Notre Dame, was the first quarterback to win a national title at Notre Dame since 1988, and on the way to winning that national title, beat Michigan.
That'd be pretty crazy.
They would throw it. I think Michigan fans would just quit. Like they would.
They would.
Quit. Yeah,
that would be crazy.
Yeah, not saying it's going to be bad. And Notre Dame's defense has been legit. Just one of those things with a true freshman. He gets those breaks and throws in. Yeah, I think if CJ Carr starts, Notre Dame fans are going to.
There's going to be bruises and bumps, but I don't think we're going to be pissed.
And we're not going to get mad at him. Like we got pissed off at Drew Pine because he was a junior making those mistakes. Like we got pissed off at Ian Book because he was a senior making those mistakes.
Yeah.
So, So I think we can handle the groans and pains for sure.
I agree. I mean,
TJ isn't welcome in Michigan. Seth is a Michigan fan, by the way.
Is he really?
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sure that he isn't. Yeah.
I mean, I think Michigan is going to be pissed if we end up winning an award with or winning a trophy, a Heisman, anything with CJ Carr. I mean, I would be pissed if the grandson of Lloyd Carr, wins a national championship at Notre Dame. I mean, I think that, you know what? I'm calling it right now. I think CJ Carr is going to win us 5 natties. He can't. What?
No, you know what? No. 5 natties. All right. And he will be the first player to win back-to-back Heisman since Archie Griffin.
I think he wins. You know what? I think he wins 7 Heismans.
He comes back for a 7th year of eligibility.
Dude,
Oh, wait, first of all, how much NIL money do you think CJ Carr collects on when he gets to campus December 16th?
not as much as Sam Hartman. I think. Okay, give me 2 seconds and we can continue talking about this.
No, you're good.
There we go. Now, had to put that trade through. Tua Tagovailoa was just traded for Lamar Jackson in the SNFL. Interesting trade, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm going to say that in terms of CJ Carr, I think the growing pains are worth it. Developing is worth it. He's going to struggle. Every freshman struggles, except for unless you're Jameis Winston, Johnny Manziel, or Caleb Williams for some reason. So I think that he is going to be a beast, and I think that we'll win 9 games with him next year, 9-10 games if he starts.
Does Notre Dame make the playoff at 10-2 next year with how easy the schedule is?
Maybe. That's my answer. Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
You know that Texas A&M game is looking a lot less daunting now that they don't know who their coach is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who's hired. Like if Daniel Campbell gets hired, I'm going to be nervous as shit.
Yeah.
Right. But if for some reason they're like, let's hire Willie Taggart or whatever his name is, Taggart. Yeah. I'm not gonna.
So Seth says if Notre Dame, like if Carr were to win a national title and beat Michigan on the way to that, he said I'd go Philly winning the Super Bowl pissed.
I guess but
I won't eat horse poo.
Would you eat horse poo for Notre Dame
to win a national title? Yes.
What wouldn't you do for Notre Dame?
I don't know. That's a pretty short list, Sean. Oh.
I mean, I don't disagree. I'd probably take a spoon and eat a bite of horse poo from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to know the year. Right. I'd want it to be like, you take a bite of this horse poo, Notre Dame will win a natty in your lifetime. Cool. I wouldn't want to know the year. I'd want it to be special.
Yeah. What do you think about this? A&M getting Urban Meyer. If he gets Urban Meyer at College Station.
Nope, not going to happen.
Bro, the videos would be wild.
I think they get Mike Elko.
No, bro, really? Well, wasn't he he was at DC there, wasn't he?
Yeah, so I think they get Mike Elko. So
Golden Playbook says CJ Carr will be the next Joe Montana.
All right, let's stop giving us
Joe Montana, he wasn't really that we remember him for the
he wasn't really that good. Yeah.
He wasn't. No, seriously, Joe Montana, I looked at his stats because I was like, people were like, oh, he's the best quarterback to ever play it. I was like, yeah, based on what he did in the NFL. But dude had 6 touchdowns and 6 INTs in a season.
Football's different back then.
Yeah. But I mean, Joe Montana.
Drew Pine did better at Notre Dame than Joe Montana.
Tyler Buckner did better at Notre Dame than
in one game.
No, Dane Christ did better at Notre Dame.
All right, you're taking it too far, Ryan. No, I mean I'm interested.
Oh no.
I'm hoping, man. Winston was a fraud. He showed it. I like Jameis Winston. I mean,
I didn't like him. I liked Jameis Winston until that Notre Dame game where we got cheated out of a touchdown.
That's one of the few moments in Notre Dame history where I went outside, took off my shirt, and started slamming it to the ground. I was pissed.
The offense, the rub route, the offensive PI. I'm like, what?
And then Clemson did it in the championship and doesn't get called, but it was the guy.
Yeah.
That made me mad. One of the few that what makes me mad when I see it. That I get mad at the Michigan State field goal because that was definitely delay of game.
Yeah.
100% delay of game. And then I get mad Not really. The Bush push doesn't make me mad. I think now I wouldn't say mad, but when I see the Ohio State finish this year,
You know what else makes me mad though? That same Florida State game after the offensive PI, it was like fourth and 20 or something like that. After that,
Yeah,
and Golson, because the thing I loved about Everett Golson, and Notre Dame fans don't put enough respect on him, but the amount of times he ran around like in the backfield and then just somehow pulled some dumb shit out of his ass to win the game or make a clutch play for Notre Dame. Like he's not Caleb Williams, but it was kind of Caleb Williams-esque. He doesn't get enough credit for that. Like he really doesn't.
Everett Golson was daddy. I loved Everett Golson.
Remember that play on fourth and 12 against Stanford, and we were losing, and he ran around.
That is definitely. I don't know if that season can ever be topped. Like
It sucked because we lost to Florida State that year, but
as much as I hate it, I will say this. This is probably my second favorite Notre Dame season. Not in terms of success, but getting to storm the field.
Yeah.
And then the Sam Hartman experience. Like, even though it hasn't panned out how he
Sam
wanted,
Hartman.
I mean, that was fun. I mean, it was really fun. So
the what is it?
and then yeah. I mean, Freeman, Hartman. I mean, I loved it. But
I'm gonna miss Estime. I'm really
me
gonna miss
too.
Estime.
I hope he wins the Doak, but I don't think he will. But
He won't.
it's gonna be interesting to see how. Yeah, but 2012 Notre Dame was it's hard to top like every game having a dramatic finish, goal line stand, triple overtime, missed field goal.
No, I'm not talking about 2012. That was great too, but I'm talking about the 2014 season.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, that was a shitty football season.
It was a shitty football season, but the plays that
it wasn't as bad as 2016. That's probably my least favorite.
What did we go 6-6 in 2014? Was it 6-6 or did we go 8-4?
8. I think we were at 6 or 7 wins, and then we just lost out every game after that.
We were undefeated when we played at Florida State. I remember that.
Momentum, man. But I'll tell you, 2016, there ain't going to be a season worse than that. I mean, 4-8.
Bruh.
And that was my first home Notre Dame game.
And Deshaun Kaiser was like, I remember he had all the preseason hype.
Dude, I thought he was going to be a beast for the Browns, man. I was like, nope.
But no, I mean, I agree. But we've kind of went over a little bit, Sean, so we're going to kind of wrap it up here. But another great episode, as always. Thank you guys all for tuning in, Seth. Appreciate it. Golden Playbook, as always.
Seth, you better be back next week.
Seth, you better be back next week, bro.
I know
you're a Michigan fan, but we enjoy your banter in the comments.
Gross.
But anyway, please go like and subscribe if you like the show. We'll be live, the Week Zero podcast, and me, Phil, the guy at Maze Madman. We'll be live here at 9:00 Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, doing our Week 12 preview and picks. So go tune in for that. Go follow us on Twitter at the handles below. But
at ND_____50_forever.
But as always, guys, stay safe and go Irish.
Go Irish. 34